Hello boys and girls, and welcome to this week's Kids Club story. Today it's called Shadrach, Meshech and Abednigo, and as usual we have actions in our story. Whenever you hear the words horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp and pipes, you need to pretend to play one of these instruments. Whenever you hear the words we're not worthy, you need to bow down with your hands down to the floor and back up again, saying, we're not worthy, we're not worthy.
We're not worthy, we're not worthy.
Fire, there's a fire.
Here we go, let's begin. Once upon a time there was a king called Nebuchadnezzar. He was a mighty king and he ruled over all of Babylon. He was also a bit of an old big head, and he wanted people to give him the respect that he thought he was due. So he came up with a plan. So he called for a horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp and pipes player, and told all the people that whenever he was in town, they should bow down before him and wave their arms up and down and shout,
We're not worthy, we're not worthy.
So that's what all the people did. Every time the king was in town and heard the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp and pipes,
Da 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 da.
they would bow down before the king, shouting,
We're not worthy, we're not worthy, we're not worthy.
Not only was King Nebuchadnezzar a bit of an old big head, he was also lazy and couldn't always be bothered to go down into town and wait for the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp and pipes and have the people shout,
We're not worthy, we're not worthy.
but he still liked to think that people were showing him the proper respect, even when he couldn't be bothered to show them any. So he came up with a plan. He had a big gold statue made of himself and put right there in the market square. He told the people, every time you hear the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp and pipes,
Da 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 da.
you must bow down and say,
We're not worthy, we're not worthy, we're not worthy.
So that's what happened. Every time the people heard the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp and pipes, they would bow down before the king and shout,
We're not worthy, we're not worthy.
Now there were 3 men in town called Shadrach, Meshech and Abednigo, and they were good, strong men of God. They had read their Bible and they knew that it said you must not bow down before any other gods. So even when the rest of the people heard the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp and pipes,
Da 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 da.
and bowed down before the king and shouted,
We're not worthy, we're not worthy.
Shadrach, Meshach and Abednigo refused to. Now not only was King Nebuchadnezzar an old big head and lazy, he was also very, very mean. And he was not impressed at all that Shadrach, Meshach and Abednigo would not bow down before his statue and shout,
We're not worthy, we're not worthy, we're not worthy.
just like all the other people did. So he called for his soldiers and he had them thrown into the fiery furnace. Now you and I both know that fire is hot and burns and is pretty uncomfortable. But God knew that Shadrach, Meshach and Abednigo were faithful to him and had been obedient to his commands. So he sent an angel of the Lord to join them in the fire. They had a lovely time. They danced around, they sang songs, they even played cards. The king was amazed. Now I understand, he said, that the God who Shadrach and Meshach and Abednigo worship is bigger and stronger and better than me or any of my gods. Never again, when my people hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp and pipe, will I make them bow down and shout,
We're not worthy, we're not worthy.
And he told Shadrach, Meshach and Abednigo to come out of the fire and gave them very important jobs in his kingdom. And then just to finish the story off nicely, the king worshipped the one true God. He had his musicians sound the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp and pipes, and all the people and the king bowed down and shouted, "You are worthy, you are worthy." And so did Shadrach, Meshach and Abednigo.
Fire, there's a fire.